I'll stick to having no kids, no heirs, and spending the money when I choose to spend my money, I'll spend it. Done.
Kids don't cost that much.
Yes, they do.
Well, mine didn't cost that much.
Mine sure did.
What, Robert? I'm Grant.
It cost you a lot, but I'll tell you, like I've told my son, I said, of all the things I've had in my life, nothing means more to me than the time I had with you, raising you as a child, camping out with you. I was a single parent from the time he was 3 years old up to the time he was 12. Did everything with him, took him to, by myself, took him to New York City, and we saw some plays, saw a number of things in New York, Statue of Liberty and so forth, and went and saw the Mexican rodeo down there where Trump had his big rally, Madison Square Garden. Took him all over Manhattan. And I've taken him all over the United States. I think together we've been just about every state. We haven't been in Maine yet, but we've been in almost all the other states. And he's seen a lot of the world, the Western Hemisphere, and fishing, a lot of fishing in Utah, and Idaho, Wyoming, and Alaska. And we built a cabin together up there, and my son could take you down the Yetna River and navigate well and not hit the motor in the gravel. He knows how to read the water real well. And he's a good fisherman, and we learned that all together. And I wouldn't trade those moments for anything. And I swear, Robert, I know you well enough to know that if you'd had a child, say you didn't mean to get somebody pregnant, you had to take care of the child, you would feel the same way. So screw it. You just don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know me as well as you think.
Well, you had dogs, right? Remember you spent all that money on your dogs, your Labradors, and you spent thousands of dollars on surgery for a dog and stuff like that. If you didn't care about living items, you wouldn't have any dogs, and you wouldn't have gave a shit.
I did have 3 dogs, and I did spend some significant coin on those dogs. I'll give you that. And if, in retrospect, had I known how much those dogs would have cost me, I would have invested in dog insurance, because those dogs cost me a sizable amount of money. I probably spent, for those 3 Labradors, for the length of their life, all 3 of them combined, I would say between $20,000 and $50,000 I spent on those dogs.
So there you go. Money equal the joy, right? So you like your dogs. So that's the same way with your kids. The money, you can make money all the time. Money's easy to make, comes and goes. But you got your kid, and like I said, for me, I didn't think it was a lot of money to raise a kid, to be honest. But whatever.
If you don't get a divorce, I think raising a child and considering the enjoyment you get out of it, you don't have to pay for that. You don't have to pay for that, but you got to take care of your child. But the little things you remember, those little arms that wrap around your neck when you come home, and he runs up and you swing him over your shoulder, and he says, "Daddy, Daddy," and he loves you, and he gets you on the phone and then talks to you and asks you where you are. And I say, "Well, I'm in Japan." Have the babysitter show you the map and show you where Japan is. And I'd call him every night when I was on trips and talk to him, and he enjoyed looking on the map, and he'd point at where I was, and I'd say, "Yeah, that's where I was, right there on that damn island right there." And anyway, we had a lot of interesting talks, and now, unfortunately, because of his mental illness, he won't get on an airplane. He's ridden on airplanes 1,000 times, all by himself. He's all of a sudden decided that airplanes could fall out of the sky and he could get hurt. And I can't get him in a big airplane. And he's afraid if he got in one, that he'd get so nervous he'd get his head blocked off. And if you get it severely enough, you can grind your teeth down to whether you grind your teeth off. So he's got a terrible illness, the mental illness, and it can cause real problems. Anyway, he's got to convince himself that it's safer. And I said, you're going to die one of these days anyway. You might as well enjoy your life, and at least we'd be together. If we got in the airplane and it crashed, we'd both be together. We could say goodbye and just say, that's it. look, and just hang on to each other, and maybe we'll survive the crash. But you got to live life. You can't be scared to do things and not live your life. Anyway, I'm trying to get him back on the airplane because he's done it many times. He says, "Well, go anywhere in the Super Cub with you, the little airplane." And I said, "That's a lot less safe than flying in an airliner. It's a lot less safe." "Oh, I know. I think it's safer." Anyway, you can't reason with him. People get the mindset, and it's hard to. Anyway, it's hard to dealing with people who are mentally ill. But you just love him anyway, and he's still the best gift I've had in my life.
Yeah, when you got somebody, irrational fears, there's no amount of talking is going to fix it. They have to realize.
Now, we even Googled it. How much safer is it to fly on a commercial airline 3,000 miles than to drive 3,000 miles? Anyone want to take a guess what it said? 2,200 times safer. Or excuse me, 2,200 times safer. So that means you could fly 2,200 trips to Alaska and have it be as unsafe as driving it just once.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, you can look up and tell them what's the probability if I go to Oakland and hang out versus flying.
Yeah, go up there and spend a nice afternoon skateboarding in the Oakland Park.
Go anywhere in Oakland. Boy, I tell you, there was every day I've been reading all these news articles about how Oakland is just imploding. They had like three armed robberies in gas stations in the last couple of days in Oakland. I mean, Oakland is definitely getting a little sporty, to say the least.
And you know what? They should change the laws there so that people who operate businesses like that, they can arm themselves. And has anybody been killed because of these robberies?
I didn't check, but the homicide rate in Oakland is extremely high. It's like Detroit, right? So Detroit and Oakland and St. Louis, and they all very, very, very dangerous places. If you gave me a house to live in Oakland, I wouldn't live there.
It would be like old West days. I'd have to be wearing 6 guns wherever you go. And when people come into your store, they got to leave their guns outside, right? You say, "You got any guns on you?" Leave them outside or don't come in.
Nowadays in Oakland, where did I see it was they went through. There's an Asian lady owned a business, and they had 2 sets of gates. These people went through and smashed their car through the first, and then knocked it down, and then backed up, and then went through the second, and then robbed the store completely. Didn't kill anybody, but they took the majority of the stuff in the store, and then they just took off.
Yeah, Oakland is a nightmare.
Oh, and then they took the ATM to go with it.
It's lawlessness, and the people are letting them do it, and they got no money, and the cops are broke, and everybody's broke, and that's the crown jewel of Gavin Newsom. So remember, he sent the sheriffs over to fix Oakland. How fucking long did that last? 5 minutes?
No, that was the CHP that went over to fix Oakland. Matter of fact, the mayor of Oakland just got booted because she wasn't doing her job because the crime rate is, and then obviously In-N-Out Burger, even though they were profitable, they said that 300 out of the 365 days there was some crime at that location, and he says, and then Lindsay Snyder says, and we would call the police, and they wouldn't show up for like hours.
Yep. I could be the mayor. I'd be the mayor of Oakland. I'd clean that place up quick.
Yeah, it's like when you went up to HRO in Oakland. Yeah, you were taking your life in your hands there.
Yep. But I would, if I would become the mayor of Oakland, I would go to Washington and I would try and get with the Trump administration, and I would have him say, can we register Oakland as a natural disaster caused by the Democrats, and then I would get the National Guard in there.
Well, another thing you could do is just put a bounty on anybody who's robbing a gas station or robbing a store. That you, as a citizen of the state of California, if you get a concealed carry permit, and if you have one, and you see somebody robbing a store, you can take action, and you can arrest that person. If they resist arrest, you can shoot them. And if you have to shoot a guy, what you can do is that you cut off his left ear and tag him and put the tag on him.
Yeah,
and
right.
Get, something like $80 for the tagged corpse, and you turn the corpse in and you get paid for it.
No, I would just get the National Guard. They would be positioned everywhere, gas stations, banks. You'd have guns. It's just like the policia, in Brazil. They've got military police everywhere, all over the place. And they only allow one person in the bank at a time, in the store, stuff like that. They got guns right there. Any fucking shenanigans, they shoot you. They don't talk to you. In Brazil, when the cops are going, everybody's running the opposite direction. People don't go to watch because the cops shoot everybody.
Oh, they shoot everybody?
Yeah, if you're a fucking criminal, you're dead. And if you get shot because you're hanging around or standing around, you're supposed to leave the scene of the crime. When there's shit going down and the cops show up, my wife says everybody goes the other direction because they're going to start shooting.
Well, that makes sense. That's what a smart person will do.
So, like I said, I've seen videos, and when I was in Brazil, my wife's like, oh shit, the cops are here, let's go. So everybody goes. You see all the people that aren't doing bad shit, they leave. And then the cops will shoot the bad people, and they don't screw around. And they have, a lot of plainclothes cops running around, and anything goes south, they just shoot the person. They don't wait and talk to them or try and make them feel better about it. They're fucking bleeding and dead within minutes.
When I was in high school, the chief of police of Watsonville, California, Chief Osborne was his name. I knew him. I met him. Anyway, whenever the bank, I think Bank of America. I think it was the Bank of America on the corner there, on the main street in the plaza there. They'd get a holdup, and they'd get a warning from somebody press a button in the bank. The chief of police would take his snub-nosed pistol and go down and walk through the front door, and you'd hear bang, 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 bang. And then he'd get on his phone and he'd say, come and get him. And then go and get the guy and drag him out. That was it. He'd shoot the guy in the bank, drag him out, and away he went. He was dead. And it got to be very unpopular to rob banks in Washingtonville.
Exactly. That's the deterrent when people end up pushing up daisies. So anyways, it's 8:40. I'm going to go watch the Tube. Tomorrow is going to be New Year's Eve, huh?
Yeah, it'll be the last day of a very scary year, but one that ended with a real positive note, and it's one that we'll always remember. I think all of our lives will remember Trump getting elected. I will.
2024 to 2025. So anyway, I'm going to go, Weldon, if you're still eating your pie, I'm jealous. KJ6VRC, 73 Grant, and Rubber Toe. Anybody else that's out there?